Good morning, good day, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're at. Tuned into the BitLab Academy daily live streams every day, Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name's Kelly Kellam, and welcome to the show. Make sure you're following my correct Twitter. That's right under my name, @Kelly Kellam. And make sure you check out all of these websites down here below, the socials and the website, bitlabacademy.com. And you see all the socials right here. Make sure you're following the correct ones, @Academy BitLab, BitLab Academy here on YouTube, and at Academy BitLab on Instagram and Twitter. So with that, man, does it feel good to see some green in the market, and we're seeing a little bit of continuation? Should we be super excited? Are there some data points that say we should be rejecting here? Let me know. Let me know if there's any issue with the audio or visuals or whatever it is. I'm going to be staring at the chat as much as I can. When I'm looking over here, just so you know, I'm trying to make sure everything's good on the stream. So we got some stuff to look at today. So shout out to everybody here in the community. If this is your first time, if this is your last time, this is your only time, you're here, you're watching. So do me the favor and do the whole community a favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. It does a great service to helping keep these sort of streams on the air, whether it's my channel or any channel you watch. If you find yourself captivated because you love it or you hate it, it really does help out to just make sure that you go and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. So we are going to jump into the charts and the screen here in a second, but I want to shout out the chat. Shout out to Mr. Alex Green, a mellow fellow. We got Blazing 2JZ, Taylor Brown, Justin Eubanks, King Peasant, Tony Mart. There's so many people in chat here. If you're watching over there on the Hit Network, shout out to all you. I cannot see any of you all in chat there, but definitely form a community and whatever YouTube stream you're watching. It helps build a community, and it really helps the growth and adoption of Bitcoin and crypto, believe it or not, if we have that sort of inclusive, encouraging mentality rather than being trolls, rather than talk about the stuff you hate. If you don't like something, watch something else. That's all I got to say about that. If you have criticism, give a constructive criticism. If you have an experience, whether it be good or bad, share it with the community so that we all can learn and grow together. That's what this is about. So shout out to everybody that's been here from the start. There's a lot of you. Let us know where you're tuned in from. I like to sort of do that when you come to this morning stream here on BitLab Academy. Try to make it a habit at the beginning. Say, hey, tuned in from this city, city, state, or country, and let me know what your born on date is. I like to have some sort of idea about how long people have been in the space. If you got in near the top, if you got in near the bottom, just all you need to do is the month and year of when you made your first crypto purchase, whether it was $1 or $1 million. If any of you have bought $1 million worth of any crypto, let's sit and chat, because maybe we can learn something from one another, right? We need to understand the experiences people have had, where they won, where they lost. That's how we grow, and that's what this is all about. This channel is all about bridging the gap from beginner to pro. So with that being said, we did get that pump. We're going to go over a lot of charts today. And we're going to talk about, there's a little bit of confusion in the market because we're getting strong bullish follow through on in a situation where typically with the sort of headwinds that we've seen, the global economic headwinds, the political headwinds, I should say geopolitical headwinds, inflation, all these things we've talked about a number of times on this channel, and especially the macro downtrend that we have, I would say at this point, retested that macro downtrend of resistance and flipped it to support. But what we want to do is we want to identify, is this a healthy push? Are we going to should we expect from the data that we're seeing on the charts, should we expect further upside? Should we be managing our risk a little bit and pull back? But we're going to dive into all that. So I hope everything's good on all of the sources here. Now we're going to go ahead and continue on. I'm going to jump right into my screen. And that's not the chart I want, but what we're going to do is I just want to make sure that you are following the correct accounts here. And that is wrong page there. That is at Kelly Kellam for myself and at Academy BitLab for BitLab Academy. And we've got a lot of stuff we're going to be going over today. There's some Twitter stuff. And one of the reasons why I pull up charts on Twitter is because I just want to point out what a great resource you have available for free at your fingertips of just basically taking the time to go through and build your list of people that you follow. I've got a pretty long list of people I follow, I basically only use Twitter for crypto. And there's a lot of great stuff that's available to us there that some of it is in agreement, and some of it is a complete contention with each other. And I need to see that, and you need to see that. We need to not live in a bubble. We need to be very bullish while still having a bearish perspective. We need to be very bearish in bear markets while still having a bullish perspective. We need to be able to see both sides of the coin, and we need to be able to see beyond. You know, if you're holding Render, if you're holding Atom or Cardano, we need to know broadly what's happening in the market surrounding the assets that we are so gung-ho about, surrounding the assets that are not even in the crypto ecosystem, because all these things have an impact on our ability to draw insight from what's happening in the market. All of these things give great insight as to where the psychology of the market is for risk on, risk off behavior, where the psychology of the market is for are there sort of some headwinds coming our way that we can foreshadow in crypto because we see it playing out in another sector. And that is why, as much as this BitLab Academy, and you think about the name BitLab, we're talking about, you know, this is rooted in blockchain and Bitcoin and crypto. But in order to dominate this field, and in order to navigate it profitably and to do that consistently over time, we need to have a good understanding of the context of what's around us. So let's go ahead and jump back in here. And I want to come over right here. So this is something I just wanted to re-highlight. Where's this chart? I thought it's this chart. It's just his newsletter. Come on, we can do it. He shared it. Boom, boom. Where's it at? This right here. We have a setup on a macro setting. And what do I always say? We want to look at the macro, the midterm, and the micro. Not only the macro and the charts, but we want to look at the greater context of the assets that have a direct correlated impact, or at least a direct correlated signal that we can draw insight from on what's happening with global finance, so we can see how that's correlating with what's going on with Bitcoin, and then thus with Bitcoin we can have a good gauge on what's happening with the rest of the crypto market. And we can see we have this basically green and red dots. The red dots are correlating with Bitcoin market cycle tops. The green dots are correlated with Bitcoin market cycle bottoms, as we can see here. And what we're seeing is the MACD here on the 3-week has flipped bullish about. I think it's about a month ago, about 3 weeks ago now. Excuse me. 3 to 6 weeks ago, month and a half ago, and we have seen, when we look at the Bitcoin price, we have seen that sort of play out here. It flipped bullish as the momentum has swung back to the upside, and we know that the momentum swung back to the upside because that's essentially what we are looking at when we're looking at MACD. For those that don't know, MACD stands for moving average convergence divergence. So that's a lot of words to say. It's a good way to gauge which way the momentum is shifting. If it's continuing to the upside and expanding, meaning it's becoming more momentum, that's what expanding MACD to the upside would be. And you know this is expanding because you see these two lines, and you also see this histogram right here across the center. And this histogram is essentially a visual representation of the measurement between these two lines. So when it's very tight as it crosses here, you also see that this becomes very tight as this shrinks down. And then as this crosses over and is expanded, we can also see on this histogram. So some traders I know don't even look at these lines. They look just at they turn the lines off and they look just at the histogram, and you can do either. But the point here is that this is a great tool to really understand where the momentum is shifting. Is the momentum increasing to the upside? Is it starting to cool off? Is it starting to roll over? As we can see right here, this is starting to roll over to the downside, and we could tell that before this cross because these histogram bars are getting larger and larger, meaning momentum was increasing. And then as as this peaks out, much like a market cycle peak, and it rounds back and comes back to the downside. As this rounds and comes back to the downside, that means the momentum to the upside has started to fail. And if momentum to the upside has started to fail, then that means you have a balance. Think of like the scales of justice, right? You have two scales, and as one gets heavier and has more weight on it, then that scale is pushed down. When this one gets more weight on it, even if you change nothing here, the second the weight on the opposite scale outweighs the scale platform on the other side, then it will start to basically push this down and lift this up. Same thing happens with momentum. If the bullish momentum is waning, then that means the conviction to the upside is also waning or decreasing. Once you get to that point of neutrality and the bulls have already exhausted that amount of upside, then you get it rolling over. And then now it's like throwing a ball up. It pauses for a second and then it comes down. And so essentially what we want to gauge here is this move right here, do we have any cause for concern, or is this going to be something like this where we can do option T on the chart, click at the bottom, we have our trend line. I'm going to double click on this trend line, make it larger just so we can all see it clearly. I'm going to make it blue. Let's make it really light. There we go. So option T, if you're on PC, Alt T gives you a trend line, as you see here, option T. You see, that way you don't have to come over here and draw it on the left. And then, so this sort of pattern would be something like this, but that's not the full correct way I would measure this, because there's multiple patterns within this, and this is a rounding top, as we can see here. This isn't necessarily a bull flag, but this is the way some people mess themselves up when they're trying to find targets. They see this bullish pump, they measure it, and they go, okay, as soon as this pulls back, I'm putting it along, and it's going all the way up to 31,347. Whereas that might not be the case, because we've got some hurdles ahead of us. And that's what this stream is specifically trying to identify, because as bullish as I am, I want to identify any likelihood that there's something that could throw my train off the tracks. And I actually should not have used that reference, because shout out to anybody in any of the areas in the central U.S. that has dealt with any of the train derailings. And I mean, there's some crazy things going on right now, and I'm not going to get into the speculation around all that sort of stuff, but shout out to anybody that's dealing with that. And also shout out to, and I haven't seen enough of this online, so I'm going to pause here for one moment. Shout out, love and prayers to everybody over in Turkey and Syria, everybody that's dealing with that incredibly terrible, humanitarian crisis from the earthquake that happened there. There's a lot of people, tens of thousands of people lost their lives, and hundreds of thousands or more are homeless. So shout out to that. You know, we're here to talk about crypto and trading and investing and strategy, but we have to remember that we're people, and the only reason we want to make this money, the only reason we really want to better our lives, of course we want financial sovereignty, but we also want to have the ability to live free. And if we want to live free, then we have to have compassion for others that are being trapped in any sort of natural disaster or humanitarian crisis. So shout out to them, big love and in my heart for anybody going through any sort of crisis right now. So jumping back into the charts, what we're trying to do is identify this right here. Is this going to be a healthy move? Is this going to roll over? So we're going to come back to this in a second. I'm going to show you exactly the levels I'm watching, exactly how we can effectively sort of gauge what's happening in the market, zooming in on a smaller time frame to get more and more resolution, because this candle right here, and I'm just going to do a brief sort of 2-minute sort of recap on understanding price action, because I think a lot of people forget to really tune into understanding what price action is. This is a visual representation, yes, of the price, but not really. This is a visual representation. All price action is on a chart is an excellent visual representation of the dominant psychology of the market at any given time. I'm going to say that again. Price action is a physical representation on a chart mapped out, giving you a visual, I cannot speak. Price action is a visual representation on a chart identifying the dominant psychology of the market at any given time, and it's mapped over time so we can see how this changes. This obviously was dominantly bearish, and then the bulls came in, but then the bearish psychology came back in, the narrative became bullish again, got rejected at this macro downtrend line, and this was a very bearish narrative, very bearish psychology. This is when everybody's getting mad on Twitter, people are fighting, and then now we see this switch. Now we see the psychology has become bullish again. And there's some question about this is what this is. This pullback is a question. Should it be bullish? And then once the bulls that are there, if the bullish psychology is dominating, then we will find a bounce at this macro downtrend resistance that now we have flipped to support. So this is something that a lot of traders, a lot of investors were waiting on, is for this price action to come down and test the resolve of the bulls. They were testing how strong the bears were, how far will they push it before the bulls come in, and they came in above this resistance line, now flipping it to support. So is this going to be a bear? Is this going to be a bull trap, or is this going to be a bull trap, find resistance and roll over, or is this going to fight through and we're going to get just very quick movements up over the next few weeks, over the next month or so? Well, we're going to be able to find that out. So let's go ahead. Come back over here, coming back to what we were talking about, momentum, catching the swings in momentum. This is showing that there is a macro shift in the psychology of the bulls and the bears, because the momentum is shifted bullishly here. And this is a caveat. And I pointed this out the other day, but I want to just bring this in because I don't just want to see where the momentum is shifted. I also want to look at, is there any support, any data that's saying, okay, momentum is shifted, but there's also data saying that in previous times, the correlation of this other data point that has shifted has shown a lot of support for bullish action. And we see right here with the China 10-year Treasury yield, as well as the Dixie, the dollar index is a high yield spread. Anytime this is rolled over, this is also brought down. Basically, this is liquidity. Anytime global liquidity has sort of rolled over, and we end up seeing a downtrend in Bitcoin price. And once this has bounced and found support, look how this was moving up fairly strong as compared to Bitcoin. So in a way, this was a little bit of a leading indicator. Even if not, it came in with the support. And the support, when I say by support, the fuel it needed to continue with upside movement. And we see this all the way up to, this was the $18,000 top in 2017. And then once this found its resistance, now we have a trend line. This has rejected down. This also crashed on March of 2020, the global economic shutdown. We also see the dip here. And then this very quickly rocketed up. I mean, much faster than Bitcoin price. This is just an explosion of liquidity, and we see that coming into Bitcoin. But then as this peaked, and now we have this trend line that's formed, this has rolled back over, and we got a bit of a false second top here, and that's a whole nother video that I'll talk about. Most people that are experienced analysts in the space will basically measure the bull market of 2020 into 2021 to be the true top around $64,000, because a lot of the data that supports where tops and bottoms are really align with that. Now we do get this, that's why I call this a second false top, but either way, we did get this start of this bear trend, and now this is bounced again, the Chinese 10-year and the Dixie and the high yield spread, and we've got a ways to go to the upside, and this is supporting the fact that the momentum has shifted there. Now, we have a couple things to look at here, though. We're talking about liquidity. We see that Bitcoin, of course, because we've been looking at this chart. I know all of us have been staring at it because we're so happy to see some darn green again. But we see the price has rocketed, but we've also found that several funds and institutions have poured nearly $1.6 billion into crypto since February 10th. And let's see where February 10th is. Let's align where this is. February, we're going to go on the daily here. February 10th. So this is February 10th. Boom. So what is this right here? What is this saying? What is the $1.6 billion that's been funneled in, and the liquidity that's come into Bitcoin since February 10th? Well, why is this? Well, let's talk about what I just mentioned. Let's revisit that. We were talking about the psychology of the market we're looking at that play out with the price action candlesticks, okay? So we're seeing people are a little bullish, and then as the price isn't failing and the bears aren't coming in, other people get bullish, and then you get this knockdown trickle effect, and then it dominates, and then basically it takes the majority, at least, the majority of money being spent. I won't say everybody's actual mind, but the majority of money being spent in the market is being spent in a bullish narrative, and we see this as the momentum is increased. And we know the momentum's increased because each candle is bigger than the last, meaning there's more price movement on each candle. So there's more velocity within Bitcoin on the bullish narrative. Now this pauses, it starts to slow down once we get near this previous price action downtrend. And the bulls dominate, break right through it. And then as this pulls back, this is what I've been talking about. And I know I've said it a number of times on the last few streams. We have to wait for bullish confirmation for money to really come in from the outside, from retail, from people that have been burned, that are really just waiting for a more conservative entry. Excuse me. And we're seeing this play out right here. If since February 10th, if this is where the big money, $1.6 billion was injected into the market from institutions, well, why would they do it here? Well, they're not going to do it here. And this is where I'm going to draw a box here. This is where right here, this is where the majority of retail buys, because they don't have the patience, and they don't have this community. You all here tuning into these kind of streams to learn how to look for the right data so you can make the call to buy right here at the bottom versus buying way up here at the top. Now, institutions don't ever feel like they miss a move. What they do is they look for data. They look for the fundamental data that shows them those long bullish divergences. They see, quantitative and qualitative data in their fundamental analysis showing the transaction fees transactions over time increasing through all of 2022. The amount of dollar value exchanged on Bitcoin hitting, I think, around 60 trillion in 2022 while the price action was falling. So they're waiting for us to get down to a level that they feel comfortable with, and they all those sort of players align, all those data points, all the indicators align, and then they start to inject their capital. So they're buying at these lows, and then having that buying pressure comes in, starts developing further bullish divergences and bullish pressure and liquidity and volume. Volume is a key factor here. Let's go ahead and pull up volume. Seeing volume come into the market. And we can see, we can see this volume really coming in right here. But if we see this momentum come in, and then the retail gets excited all the way up here. Well, if we really were going to break this, then we would retest this at some point, and the smart money does, identifies those zones and makes a purchase, defending not only the institutions, but institutions, smart money, acculturated traders, people with experience, this will only be defended, meaning this previous resistance, because all these times in the past have been resistance. So this is previous resistance prior to this. And can this be support? And what we see here is that it's not only institutions, but there's other buying pressure from the dominant narrative of bulls that has emerged, that has been able to hold support above this previous resistance. And then all this money starts flowing in, and then we're able to, we see this massive momentum to the upside. So this is what we're looking at here. But the question everybody wants to know, is this area, I'm actually going to do right here, is this area right here going to find continuation to the upside, or is this going to get rejected and come back down? Well, there's a couple key things that we need to look at to engage with that premise. So let's continue on here. And we have a couple more things. Now we can see historical trends where the 50 SMA, now the SMA is a simple moving average. So it's the average of the last 50 candles. If you're on the daily, then it's the average of the last 50 days. If you're on the hourly, it's the average of the last 50 hours. And once we've broken through this 50 SMA in 2019, this was rocket ship up into that $13,000 peak that we had. That initial impulse that people are sort of thinking is a likely sort of scenario for things to play out here on Bitcoin in 2023. Having that push, having this push kind of come up, get it rejected, kind of push all the way up, to the $38,000 to $42,000 range, come down to the 20,000-ish. I wouldn't go as low as that, but 20,000-ish range, 22,000, somewhere in this region here, and then rocket up into 2024. So we want to know, is it going to happen now or is it going to happen then? Well, this is why momentum is so important, because we're looking at how much. I mean, think about stopping a 10-year-old on skates. You could stop them without much force because there's not much the momentum, the kinetic momentum they have doesn't hold. There's not a lot of kinetic force there because the mass, there's a small amount of mass. Now, if you try to stop a train, even, I don't want to say why I keep saying trains. If you want to stop a cruise ship, then, I mean, you've seen cruise ships, or large tanker boats wreck all the way into dock and go. Almost nothing can stop them for quite a bit of until there's a lot of force that is meeting them, because there's a lot of mass and kinetic motion that's there that has to stop. So we want to measure this kinetic motion and see, is this looking like it's primed for a follow through to the upside or a follow through to the downside, or a rejection to the downside. Now, this is a sort of dream scenario. We did break through this, and so we want this to play out to the upside, but we're going to continue on here and look at this. So here's the two scenarios, and this is from Caleb Franzen. The two scenarios for Bitcoin are here. Retest the former resistance range and rebound higher, which is somewhat of what we're testing right now, or failed breakout, meaning we get a rejection at the level we're currently at and fall through this and then try to find this as support, if not fall down further. So this is a very simple way of looking at just price action tops, support ranges. And here it's support, here it's resistance, here it's all resistance. Have we flipped this to support? Well, that's what we want to find out. Now, this is incredibly important. This has to do with the crypto momentum. So not only Bitcoin are we looking at, we're looking at the broader ecosystem. We're looking at all the things that are surrounding the assets more directly now, because we've looked a lot at what's going on with the S&P 500, with the Dixie, with the Chinese 10-year Treasury now. But looking just at the crypto ecosystem, this is the Global 30 Crypto Index, and we're seeing a lot of resistance here on this Global 30 Index. This is not this is not broken out yet. So if we come back over here, I'm going to go to a different chart. I'm going to come down to, actually want to go to another chart here. Now we're going to go to total. We're going to look at the total market cap first, and we're seeing, of course, the total market cap as a whole is pushing up. God dang it! I always forget my paintbrush is on, and I put a bunch of dots on my screen. So the total market cap is. Let's go to the daily. There we go. So we are pushing up here. On this case, we have broken all these previous highs. We do have a larger sort of spot above us. It looks like we had a little bit of a atom or even eve here, round, a little bit of an ascending channel, broke down, which is, this is a bearish price action or chart here, and this does break down, but then this is pushed up. But what we really want to look at is we're seeing a little bit that's a little bit overheated here, and we want to look more specifically at the total 2, exclude Bitcoin. And we're seeing the same thing here. And now if we come over here to BTC dot .d, there we go. Now we're looking at the Bitcoin dominance, because if we look at the Bitcoin dominance right now, as it relates to what's going on in the market, we're finding there's a top here. Let's do Option J or Alt J if you're on PC. Option J gives you a horizontal bar instead of an entire. It's a horizontal array, I mean, instead of an entire horizontal bar. And we are looking like, if we look at where we're at within this trend, Man, this is a doozy right here. I'm going to double click on the chart, minimize those, because this is formed an uptrend here. It's a little bit of at an angle, but we can kind of do that. Just imagine this curved a bit. We could actually do that over here. It's actually right here. Curve. Boom. So we've got a little bit of an uptrend here, and this found support, and this is trying to break through. If the BTC dominance is able to break through this level, then we have got a long way to go to the upside. We've got another, let's see. We've got another 8% in dominance to the upside of this range, this sort of range that we've been trading in. So there is momentum behind Bitcoin, and there is some question as to whether or not, if we do total 3, if there is some question as to whether or not money is coming out of altcoins and going into Bitcoin, if the market is going to be rushing, basically pushing up as a whole. And we can see that we've got a bit of a trend line here that's also somewhat curved, but we are seeing also almost a rounding bottom, but not quite, because this is very janky. But the market as a whole is looking like momentum is coming in. So we need to look more specifically. We need to look more specifically at Bitcoin and what levels we are on a smaller time frame, because we looked at the 3-day, we looked at the weekly, now we're on the daily. Let's come down to the 2-hour and see what's going on within these zones. Actually, let's go back to the 4-hour, because we need to draw a couple key things. We need to draw some fibs. And you guys remember, I had my entire chart. I had so many lines on it. Well, sometimes you start over with the fresh chart, and I also wanted to do that with you all so you could see how I'm getting these levels. And if you haven't yet, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell if you're liking this content. If you hate this content, hit the like button 3 times or dislike button 3 times. Much appreciated. The engagement really helps keep these channels alive. So I'm going to do Option F from this point here. I'm going to pull this down to this level there. And it looks like from this move that happened here, if we zoom in on this, we have the golden pocket right here, and look at where price is. It's sitting just below the golden pocket. Yeah, we could draw this down just a little bit, actually, from this move. And we're sitting just below a rejection zone. Rejection zone. We're sitting just below a rejection zone. No, we're sitting just below a rejection zone. Now I'm going to remove this line we drew from where that money was coming in, and we saw, look at this W pattern, double bottom, which is a trend reversal sort of indication, highly likely, immediately following almost a double top here. So there's a lot of just battling here between the bulls and the bears, because if this was any other time in the past, you know, from 2009 until the end of 2020, until the end of 2019, we had incredible quantitative easing. We had money printing. We had, I mean, the bull market that was on fire. The market, the traditional markets were on, I mean, it was such an expansive sort of pervasive bullish market economically. And Bitcoin was also able to really run with that. Shout out to Taylor Warren. What's up? How you doing? Shout out to everybody in chat. I see a lot of people in here. A lot of people have tuned in. So big love to you all. Smash that like button, ding that bell, hit that subscribe button. My name's Kelly Kellam. If you've never seen or heard me before, welcome to the family. We'd like to be encouraging, bridge that gap from beginner to pro. So shout out to everybody in chat. So continuing on, we had a incredible bull market that Bitcoin was able to take advantage of, or at least find support of for a better part of about 11 years. And then now, since the pandemic, of course, we had a global economic shutdown, and then we had money printing that really reinflated things, but then messed up the value of the dollar and messed up everything. And then we had logistics. We're having all these issues. So any other time prior to 2020, I would say full bull market, let's go. But because the markets are so disconnected right now, if we look at what was happening, with the dollar yesterday, this is the Dixie. Boom. We had a push up on the dollar yesterday while Bitcoin was rallying. Usually these two things do not happen in tandem, because when money's coming out of the markets, we see the dollar go up because it's a risk-off mentality. When we see money going into the markets, especially high-risk assets, I didn't show you my chart, did I? This was the Dixie I was talking about. As it was running up, price was falling. So as the risk assets are getting money injected into them, money tends to, the value of the dollar index tends to fall. So everything is very disjointed right now. If we also look, if we shrink this down and we look, we're still within this structure here, which is actually a bullish structure. I'm going to do a line, Option T. We have this descending wedge here on the NASDAQ, but we're kind of fighting at this level here. We're not exploding. The US 100 is kind of, it's consolidating above. It found support. It should have moved higher from here, and it's finding a little bit of consolidation, a little bit of weakness within the bulls. The Dow Jones also just consolidating sideways, but we have Bitcoin trying to make a push up. And on the one hand, I find this very exciting, because everybody wants to find that day. We want to identify, we want to reach that day where Bitcoin is disconnected, uncorrelated from traditional assets. But to be honest, I don't really think that's going to really play out over the next, until at least I would say a cycle and a half or 2 cycles minimum, which would be, about 6 years from now. And so we have this bullish structure formed, but we're right at, look at this. This is a golden pocket right here. You can see the 0.618 and the 0.65 from this breakdown point. And this is also perfectly in line with this local previous high that we have not, let's sort of zoom in. We are making every attempt. We're making every attempt to break this high. And if we come over here, we can see that we did break it very, very momentarily and then got rejected. And so it's not saying that the bears are going to take back over. It's just saying that we have to be cognizant of this price action level. Is this a trap for institutions to get people to go long so that they can get liquidity at a higher zone up here near this golden pocket, to then have shorts from this position to ride the market down for a little bit? Because, is there a recession coming? I guess there's no real argument around that anymore, because nobody has any idea what a recession is anymore, because I thought we've been in a recession for the better part of a year, and the government's arguing whether or not we're going to have a recession. And it's like, so let's just look at these charts and see where the momentum is shifting. And as it stands right now, let's pull up the MACD, RSI. Let's look at some traditional indicators, and then we'll pull up the BitLab trading stack to get a more advanced sort of look on it. And we are seeing the momentum roll over here on the 4 hour. We're seeing that, and that makes sense because we're finding this resistance zone. Now, when we look where we're at, let me zoom out a little bit. Let's go on the 8 hour so we get a better picture of the VPVR. Now, we have pushed beyond this level here, which is interesting. This 23,200, 23,800, basically breaking above 24,000. We can see all the volume on the VPVR. We do have this big gap here. But right in the middle of this gap, we have this golden pocket that is also a previous price action top. So on the one hand, we should just be rocketing through this very quickly. Where's my... We should be rocketing through this very quickly. There we go. Like this, just because all the way up to this level here, somewhere where you can see this price action, previous bottoms. This is also perfectly in line with the 786. The 786 fib. So somewhere in this region right here that also has, I'm trying to get the reason I keep shrinking and making it bigger, I'm trying to get on the visual range on this volume profile. It only shows this volume profile of what candles are on the chart. And we see this gap here, this big volume gap. So the fact that we're finding resistance and there's bullish weakness and bears sort of coming in as the volume has fallen off a cliff, this gives me a little bit of pause. Because in reality, there's no interest really at this level. But I would say the line in the sand here if we really zoom in on it, the line in the sand is about 25,220, 25,225, 25,000, really anywhere in that region. If we break through that with conviction, meaning we have momentum, we're not just having a wick and then immediately shot back down. But if we break through this, level with conviction, this 25,000, this is his previous top, then we still have to contend with this golden pocket, which is at 25,500. So I would honestly say that although this is a previous price action top, because we have this volume gap that we've discussed on this chart, it's just interesting to me that we're not just rocketing through this, but we have this macro sort of this larger period of time, midterm macro resistance with this major golden pocket tied to this top. So I'm just saying, if you did take along from here, if I took along from here, which I did, I already took some profits at this point right here. At this point right here, I got part of an order filled, and in this zone where we're at right now, this is, for me, at least a 30 to 40% profit-taking zone because of the nature of the fact that we haven't fully established that we're going to get bullish follow-through. Now, looking over here, pulling up the other indicators. There we go. So looking at and we're on the 8-hour chart here. Look at how perfectly the BitLab trading stack called this. For anybody, I just want to shout out, if you haven't yet, make sure you go over to bitlabacademy.com. Sign up for this email. I'll be putting out an email either this afternoon or tomorrow morning. It's a newsletter that we do, and I send out signals and some thoughts of what's going on in the market, as well as what's going on with BitLab Academy with some really special discounts and other things. And you also get the ability to vote on some of the different topics and some of the different coins and some of the different things we'll be talking about here on the BitLab YouTube stream. So go over here and sign up. You also get entered to win a free month access for the courses and indicators, and there's so many new so much more courses and lessons that are starting to roll out here. You guys don't understand. That's why I'm here in Atlanta. I've just been here filming like a mad dog with Frankie Candles and Ben BitBoy and TJ and a number of other people, just pumping out incredible content for y'all. And the indicators that I'm about to pull up, you can find over here on BitLab Academy. And you can still use the coupon code's good through this weekend. Put your email in here, but the coupon code is relaunch15, and you get access for 15% off. Again, that's relaunch15 for 15% off your first month. But this indicator series, we can see this called the perfect top here, push down, and we can see the bottom here. We have three divergences. We can see this is RSI, on balance volume, and an external indicator, because you can utilize this to read divergences on any other indicator you have as well. But we're also seeing not only these three divergences, you see that low print. So this showed a low, and this is in combination with the relative extrema being outside of its cloud. If we zoom in on it, you can see it's outside of its cloud. This was already forewarning it that down move was not, I don't want to say not just, but this down move was likely not going to have a downside follow through because there was bullish strength in the down move. And then we still see this peaking out. So this was foreshadowing it. We see this was foreshadowing this downward move this was likely going to bounce back to the upside. And then we get this again, and this is coupled with the trend cycle floor that we see with this significant movement with the blue wave, coupled with the bullish divergences. And if we look at the daily at the same time frame, we had a bullish divergence on the volume, which is one of the best signals, followed by that floor on the daily. And coming down to the 2-hour, we could see, where was it at? There we go. We could see right at the bottom of this, right where this move actually started, we have support with the blue wave. Also the bullish divergences here. The bullish three bullish MACD, RSI, and money flow bullish divergence pressure coming in, and this was forewarning it with a little bit right here, the outside of the move, and we get the blue wave. So we could see on multiple time frames this was setting up because we had the blue wave, we had the bullish divergence on the hidden volume. Then you come down to the 8-hour, and you can see we had the blue wave and the sticking out. And I mean, you could have taken a trade just on that, but then you can zoom in even further down to that 2 hour or the 1 hour and find the point in the move that you really want to lock in on because you're getting the signals line up. This is how you utilize indicators, whether it's the BitLab trading stack or whether it's MACD and RSI and volume, whether it doesn't matter what indicator series you use, Lux Algo, Market Cipher. The only way these indicators will make you profitable is if you are patient to wait for a 1, 2, 3, 4 confirmation. That is the magic of this indicator system, is when you're doing, for instance, if you do on the BitLab significant movement, this is not just one signal. This is a combination of MACD and momentum and RSI and stochastic. So you're getting basically 3 confirmations already with this, but I'm only counting it as one. So I'm getting a strong indication from this one. Same thing with the relative extrema. It's measuring the velocity of movements and the average over time, in addition to the RSI, in addition to, so this is 3 or 4 indicators in one as well. So this is my 2, but I'm actually reading 3, 4, 5 within this. And then my hidden volume is a combination of a number of other metrics as well as divergences. And then market intelligence itself has 9 indicators within it. So if I'm doing a 1, 2, 3 confirmation, and I don't get it here, but I'm still getting 3 indicators agreeing, 2 or 3 indicators agreeing here. This is, in this case, 1, 2, 3 indicators agreeing, as well as price action, as well as the low. So 4, 5. So I'm getting a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 confirmation on this move. That is how you utilize this. We are working on something that's it's going to be a more basic version of this as well to help walk people through some stuff. It's actually going to be a different indicator, but it's going to be part of this whole series. It's going to really help identify some things on without the technical stuff. But I really want to encourage everybody out there, if you're utilizing any indicator system, don't try to just do the basic, just a basic move crossover, because what you want to look for is having multiple data points agree on something to give you a highly probable move, so that you basically are managing your risk by using this concert of data to give you those clear signals. Man, I gotta take a breath. How's everybody doing? People came in hot. Where we at? Well, we got 338. What's up? A shout out to everybody. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. I appreciate you all being here. We're going to do some other charts now. Let's look at some other stuff. I know Ethereum moved yesterday, so let's jump in. Let's jump in on Ethereum and see where things are going there. But before we do that, I do want to say, I want to give you guys 2 targets on Bitcoin. I'm going to just zoom in here. Let's go to the 8 hour. If we do break through this zone, this 25, I would say, let's just call it 25,300. So we actually are not just getting a wick, but we actually break through it. I think we're going to have, unless we jump very quickly through, now pulling up the charts, unless we jump very quickly through this golden pocket, that is, I'm going to mute the market intelligence. Unless we jump very quickly through this golden pocket, which is essentially at 25,480. There's a large volume gap. There's a large volume gap. Where is it at? There we go. There's a large volume gap when we zoom out here. That is essentially from the golden pocket that we had to break through, 25,880, all the way up to, really, I would say there's a 786 at 28,233, but really 28,721. This level where this previous action bottoms are right here. So I just want you to be aware that there is a possibility of an upside, strong possibility of an upside move, but we have to be aware of this hurdle of the golden pocket that's right above us. It's also this previous price action bottom. We can see this right here, option J. Option J gives you a horizontal ray to the right. If you're on PC, it's Alt J. We can see that this level is perfectly in line. This resistance of this previous price action wick low is, there are hurdles here. So it's not like we're just going to go to the upside. If we do run from here, this will be a strong bullish confirmation of some bullish health. But then, just to point it out, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. We can't just be blind bulls. We do have this macro resistance, which is right here. Let's do 24. This is macro resistance right here. Why is this macro resistance? Because look at how much support it provided. Support, 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 and then we fell through it. And this is this zone that we'd be pushing back up to if we do get bullish follow through to the upside. And this is perfectly in line with having this hole right here. If we break through the golden pocket to get to this level, which is the sort of point of control of this area is about 29,000. 29,800. But the problem with that is we have a lot of price action bottoms. So I'm looking for the next target to the upside to be, I would say, right about the 786, 28,233. If we do reject from here, which I think we do have a possibility of, because we are seeing that the stochastics are overheated. Looking here on the 8-hour, stochastics are overheated. The RSI is starting to roll over, but that's not too concerning. If we let's come down to the 2-hour. RSI is rolling over. Stochastics are looking a little overheated. The momentum on the it's so choppy in this area because of this contentious golden pocket that's right above us. So if we do come to the downside, I'm looking for probably a test of this high level, high volume node here, 23,000. I would just say at least testing 23,000 if we come to the downside. But if we get rejected here, that's a rejection of the bullish narrative. So I think we will pit stop here and then likely retest this zone down here at 21,500 and ultimately test this. And what I'd really like to see, and this is my bias, and I apologize, I'd like to see that bearish pullback to that 19,700, 19,800. I don't know. I think it's less likely that we'll get it now with this price action, but I would like to see that gap close, and I would like some lower entries because I'm still waiting on some resolution with my $30,000 loss at Coinbase. So it looks like that might be being taken care of. Still haven't had confirmation. It's kind of up in the air. I did all the FBI reporting and all that kind of stuff. So, but I'd like to see the lower levels of that. But looking at just the charts, I am seeing that we are at a macro resistance and not seeing a lot of bullish follow through here because we had this massive up push, and now the next push. Look how much smaller this momentum was, and so I'm thinking I'm kind of leaning that we are going to get at least some sort of, even if it's a fake out, a pullback to that 23.4, 23.3 sort of level. So now let's go ahead and look at some other charts. Boom, 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 boom. What we're looking at, okay, Ethereum, there we go. So looking at the charts, this is Ethereum because it almost looks exactly the same. This is that code if you wanted to use it on BitLab Academy. It's 15% off your first month. And I do want to say, I didn't mention this before. I do want to mention this, that the prices that are on BitLab Academy are going up when we have all these major updates come out in the next week or two. So anybody that gets in before they go up, they basically get to keep the lower prices for the life of their account. So, and you get an additional 15% off on your first month. So it's definitely a good incentive to get in there, at least check it out for a month, because we'll have, we should be having the new website and a bunch of the new lessons and courses up. And I think we probably even have a new indicator by then as well. But what we want to do, we put that over here. What we want to do here, let's go back to the 8-hour. Okay, so we're going to draw a level here, option J, draw a level here, option J, and I think we'll do it from here. Option F for Fibonacci, and we're going to come down to this level right just like that. And this is looking a little stronger because look at this. This is I just love how TA works. From this top, which is this local top, to the bottom, the price action has been interacting a lot with this golden pocket. Get this out. There we go. This is interacting a lot with this pocket rejection, rejection, rejection. Now, and this is also, I mean, look at these holes in the volume profile, which we have to pay attention to. We've broken through this shelf, this point of control. Double click on the thing to minimize the other ones. We've broken through this shelf, and also we have broken through the golden pocket here on Ethereum, and looks like we're trying to retest it now. I'm going to zoom in on this just so we can see it more clearly. We broke through the golden pocket. And the level just directly above us, we're at 1703. The level just above us, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of volume in this zone. Let me go ahead and boom. The level just above us, and it's like once we've broken the point of like a point of control or a huge volume node, then it's like riding down a mountain versus driving up a mountain, which is a lot more difficult. This is gravity, essentially. This is gravity pulling us. It's not as hard because there's not a lot of volume traded in this region. Now, if we go out, we'll see more, but we have less volume as we go up. So I am looking at a target if we do continue to the upside push, which is looking likely. That the $1,780 level, and then the area just above that would be the 786, which would be right, but there's not a lot of volume there. I would say, yeah, 1780 to 1830 would be my next two. 1827 would be my two targets to the upside. Now, if we were to retrace from here, option F, pull that up. Look at that. Look at the golden pocket. Look at right where it is. The golden pocket, boom, right here, is perfectly in line with where this high volume node is. So if we do get rejected here, because this could be a little bit of a fake out to the upside and then a roll back down to the downside. But let's look at the indicators and see what the indicators say. This is MACD, RSI, and stochastics. This is a bread and butter. If you're a brand new trader, understand these before you try to use any other indicator system, because you can learn other indicator systems, but I just want to let you know that almost all other indicator systems are based on a lot of the similar data that you're getting on these, which are free indicators that you can get right up in here. Just type in RSI, and then when you pull it up, put a star on it, boom. That way you don't have to find it every time. Go to favorites, and then you have your indicators right there. Quick little lesson for you there. And make sure you go and check out the BitLab Pro Tradingview guide, which is on the BitLab YouTube. It's under playlist. If you come over here, boom, have it all set up, come to BitLab Academy, and it is youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. And then you go to playlist, and right here, view full playlist, daily alpha, go to the Pro Trading View guide. A lot of really great quick tips on how to use quick keys, and like I'm doing with the Fibonacci's and the lines, so you don't have to use all the toolbar for every single thing you do. And if this were to come down, we can press shift and then measure down. That's a 10% drop just to come back to the golden pocket. And this golden pocket is perfectly in line. Let's zoom out. This is perfectly in line with where this high volume node is. So this is very likely for the downside price action that we are going to have some support here at this level, also because of the volume and a sort of previous lows, as we can see right here. So this is the level I'm watching for when it comes back to the downside. 15,000. If only. I would love it. I would love to see Ethereum at 15,000, 1,570 basically. Now to the downside of that, I'm looking probably at a target. This target here, option J, and this would be right where we get the next sort of shelf on volume, and that's down at 1,300. But the caveat with that is we have this. Let's go on the daily. Yeah, so the levels I was looking at is that 1560, 1580, as well as the 1400 would be another downside target. And the stochastics are overheated here to the upside. But on the daily, we are seeing a flipping bullishly on Ethereum. So again, these were the downside targets, but the upside targets, I think, are looking likely for Ethereum, but we are seeing a little bit of waning momentum already. You see, I'm on a daily. Let's go down to the 8-hour. And what we can see is let's go to the 12-hour actually. We can see large candles, large candle, small candle, large candle, small candle. Now we're getting a bit of indecision, and we only have 7 minutes left on this 12-hour candle. So now we're changing the momentum pattern to the upside, which is showing weakness, which is right at this sort of previous top. This previous top right there. No, that's it's actually not the previous top. Yeah, it is. It's previous top from where I did the fib. And we can see that we are finding resistance because we're not continuing massively to the upside. We're finding resistance right in this basically region of where the golden pocket is, which is this 0.618 and 0.65. And this is the magic golden pocket that so many golden retraces. When you push up, the retrace back down. When you pull back, when you have a downtrend, that you have a bounce and you go up into it. So that's what you need to look for. The targets I'm looking at for Bitcoin and for Ethereum. I'm thinking to wrap it out on Bitcoin, because this is a big daddy right now. We need to watch for where are we at? Oh, you know why? I'm on the Alt Enter, makes it small. Now we go back here, plus Alt Enter. We're going to come back right here. Alt Enter. There we go. We have to, look, you see how this, look at this wick. Now it's getting eaten down. And this got rejected right at the golden pocket. What did I tell you? The golden pocket is the thing we need to watch for. So I'm going to double click on this. If I draw any more paintbrushes on my chart, we're going to go down to the 2 hour just to see what's going on. We're going to go on traditional candles. We're having a little bit of a battle here, and it's right in line with that 618. So this is that level I'm watching. If we look at one other chart before we wrap this out, where's my chart? There, no, too many charts. There we go. We did find support here, but now we're getting trapped at this level that we need to see. So what I'm looking for here is if this happens right here, this goes up and comes like this, tries, and if whether, you know, we get that lower high and then continue down, or if we have this, you know, as we got it, and then rock it up, pull back, and then launch off to the upside. That's what I'm looking at right now for what's happening with Bitcoin. I'm going to redraw that because I had this thing right in front of my mouse, so I couldn't draw it. Basically like this. So that's what those are the two scenarios I'm looking at right now. As it stands right now, this was strong momentum. This was rolling over. This was weaker momentum. So this is already indicating to me that the bears are in play here to make something happen. The bears are in play because we're seeing a loss of momentum in the movements to the upside. We're finding resistance on a major level, the golden pocket, as well as previous local price action top, previous price action top. So we're trapped in this zone. We're trapped in this zone right now that is not giving me a huge amount of confidence for the upside, but this is, as it stands right now, bullish continuation. We're just finding macro resistance right now with the golden pocket that we are fighting at. And this golden pocket isn't going to be exact. Based on where somebody draws it, the golden pocket might be a slight bit higher than I have it drawn here, but we are seeing a little bit of resistance here because we can see this candle body has more, basically almost equal wick than body. So the bears and bulls are sort of fighting on this candle equally. But with that, I hope you all trade well. I hope you trade profitably. I hope you know you harness the power to be patient. And sometimes no trade is the best trade. Wait till you see, as I showed you, multiple time frames. You see a bigger time frame setting up with bullish structure, and then you go down to, like, for instance, the daily, and then you go down to the 8 hour, and you see those structures starting to line up. It's also bullish. And then you go down to the 2 hour, and you see it coming out of a dip and ready to launch. And when you get those, you know, multiple time frames and multiple indicators in place, then you have the ability to really have highly probable trades. So with that, I bid you adieu. I'm hoping for upside price action. It's going to be very exciting for the space if it does come. The bulls look like they're trying to fight that candle back right now, but as it stands, if this candle closes, this 4 hour candle, right now it's looking a bit like a doji, a bit like a spinning top, a bit like a indecision candle. So watch that. If we have an indecision candle here and then a bearish candle following this, then that's indicating to us that the momentum has started to shift away from the bulls, at least for the time being. Maybe we're going to form a bull flag here. Maybe we will. Last thing I'll show you, maybe this does get some resistance and we get a bit of bit of a movement like this into this zone and then a rocket to the upside. Either way, wait till we get a clear signal. If you are waiting to go long, wait till you get either a pullback into a position that the momentum rolls over and the signals line up, and then you get the long, or you wait for this pattern, this flag to play out, and then you wait for that pattern to break, and you don't try to front run trades. Wait for it to break, and then you get into the trade, or you wait for this to push up, have the pullback, and go. So you want to wait for those things to line up. But with that, my name is Kelly Kellam. Thank you for being part of the stream. Make sure you follow the BitLab Academy. Go check out bitlabacademy.com. not .com, bitlabacademy.com. Get in, check out all the, I mean, there's all new courses filmed in the studio, all coming out very, very soon here in the matter of almost days. So get involved. All the people that are members of BitLab Academy before the prices go up, get locked in at the lower rate. And there's so much stuff in there. We were laughing watching it yesterday because it's just such good content. Focused. Every lesson is focused. This is support and resistance. This is Fibonacci. This is, and then we have strategies. We have, you know, I mean, every single thing you can imagine that has to do with crypto, blockchain, and trading and investing is in there, even a crypto wiki. So big love to all you, everybody in the chat. Drop in the comments below. Where do you think this is going to break up? Do you think it's going to, do you think that the bulls are going to follow through and we're going to get up there to the 30K? Or do you think we're going to have a rejection here? Comment in the chat right now. Let me know. Comment below if you've seen later. And if, let me know. Don't list anything outside of the top 100 on the coin market cap. But what are some of the alts you're looking at? Type in there. Let me know in the chat. What are some of the alts you're looking at so that I can make sure I have my sort of vision on them as well. And maybe we can do some content around them and we can do some charting on them as well. I'd love to hear it. Big shout out to everybody. I really appreciate you all. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Again, hit that like button. It really helps. Big love. Adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being my friend. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. I want to do it again.